Hello, my fellow breakaway thinkers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's another fantastic day. It's great to be back with another one. I hope you are well in all your ways and everything. I wish you love, I wish you joy, I wish you peace, I wish you all the good things that you desire in this life. This video that I'm doing here, I did this previously, but what happened is I ended up losing the video that I did. So I had to remake it. I guess this is part of the YouTube journey, right? You know, you make a video and then it was about, I don't know, 15 minutes long or so, and I ended up losing all of it. So I am remaking the video. I was outside when I did it. The weather was beautiful and all that, and I was in good energy. But I've lost it. But it's okay. It's part of life, right? Things happen, and you just have to adjust. So just remaking the video. It is about the fear of failure. That is what we are breaking away from today, is the fear of failure. So I'm going to start by defining what fear is, at least according to my understanding. Fear to me is um, the being out of alignment with who you truly are, right? To me, anyway. And I say that because the only thing that makes us afraid, right, is when we're not truly connected to ourselves, when we're not connected to the real us, right? To the highest versions of ourselves, right? Because if we are connected to the highest versions of ourselves, there's no fear whatsoever about anything, right? Because you are in tune with who you truly are. So the best definition that I can come up with is, when it comes to fear, is being out of alignment with the greatest or the best version of yourself. That's fear. Failure. Uh, my definition of failure is being, at least according to let's go with what the world would define as failure, is the inability to accomplish a task or to successfully do something that you have set out to do, right? We term that as failure. I'm going to use this video as an opportunity to reframe the concept of failure and to speak about why there really isn't such a thing as failure. Um, because everything that we experience in life, right, we are recording. Our spirit is basically taking those things in and putting that into our memory bank, right? So anything and everything that we experience in this life is not being missed by our spirit and our soul. Our spirit and our soul records practically everything that we experience in this life, right? So what we term as failure really is just an opportunity to add to your memory bank of experiences in this life, right? It basically, it's a way for you to expand who you are already, right? So it's like a bank account, and you making deposits into your bank account. So a failure is kind of like a deposit. You put in a deposit towards your spirit and towards your soul to help it to grow and to help it to expand, right? The reason why we look at it as a failure is our perception. We perceive it as failure because society has said that if you're doing something and it doesn't lead to this particular result, then it's called failure, right? So what I want to do, because again, this channel is about breaking away from thought patterns and ideas that don't serve us, right? So my desire is to help us, and this, I include myself in this as well, to break away from the idea that failure is a bad thing, because it is not. Failure is one of the ways that you grow. It's one of the ways that you expand as a human being. Without it, you wouldn't know what you wouldn't have a frame of reference. You wouldn't have something to look to as a form of comparison. So it's all part of the process, failing. Um, there's this saying, and I think I may be paraphrasing, but basically, the idea of failing your way to success, right? So what does that mean, right? That means as you go on this journey of trying to succeed and trying to grow, that the failure is going to come, right? And it's not a bad thing, right? It is a part of the process. It is what is actually going to lead you to expand and lead you to become a better version of yourself, right? Because your soul and your spirit is depositing that, right? Is remembering that and is putting that in the memory bank, right? So that you could draw from that in the future, right? That is how you are able to not make the same mistakes because you have the failure as a point of reference for you to look at, right? I mean, I don't even like to use the word failure, but I'm using it because that's what we use as a society, right? So ultimately, that is my message: is that there is no such thing as failure, and what we term as failure, we can reframe as opportunities for growth, opportunities for expansion, opportunities for reflection, right? When you are able to, when you try to attain something, right, and you hit a roadblock, that is an opportunity for you to reflect and start asking some questions. Why did this thing not go the way that I want? What are some beliefs that I have that may have led to this thing not succeeding? Just being able to ask some serious questions, and that's an opportunity for you to grow right there in that experience. Because as soon as you find the answers to those questions, you can use those answers to improve the next time, to do things in a different way the next time. Um, a realization that may come across as you do this is maybe you're not paying attention to your intuition. Your ego is getting in the way of you doing things in a certain way. It could be many answers that will come up when you sit down and reflect, right? And failure gives you the chance to do that, right? And in life, there's always going to be contrast. This idea that when you're doing something, the opposite of what you're trying to do is going to show up. Contrast is one of those laws in the universe. Basically, polarity is what I'm saying. You're going to have good and bad. You're going to have hot and cold. You're going to have night and day. These things are part of the universe, part of how our world and our universe is set up. And these are laws that we cannot escape, right? So polarity, it comes with the game. Let's put it that way. It's not something that we can avoid. So instead of trying to have a negative experience of it or a negative understanding of it, let's reframe it so that we can use it for our benefit. That is, to me, that is the whole idea, right? Is finding a way to use whatever it is that we think, our limiting beliefs, our thought patterns, our insecurities, finding ways to reframe them, finding ways to use them in ways that serve us. So that is the message today. I'll keep this one short concerning fear. So the question today for you is basically an assignment, and this is for myself and for you all as well, if you are called to do it, is ask yourself, how do I define fear? And how do I define failure, right? Now come up with these two definitions and find out how you can reframe those things to your benefit, right? Ask questions like, why do I believe that fear is a bad thing? Or how can I use my perception of fear to my benefit? These are examples of questions you could ask, right? And see what answers you come up with as you're doing this. Just spend a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be a lot, 10, 15 minutes. Sit down and just ask yourself some questions about fear and some questions about failure. And write some answers down. See what you come up with. Now, don't spend too much. This is one thing that I would suggest. Don't spend too much time on the questions, because a lot of times I've noticed, at least based on my experience, that when you spend a lot of time trying to deliberate on a question, right, your ego starts to come in and tries to be the one to give you the answers. Usually, whatever comes to you right away when you ask that question, most likely is coming from your intuition. It's coming from that higher self, right? So whatever comes to you immediately, just write it down. Um, just write it down right away. And whatever you write down is not the final answer or anything like that. You could redo it, right? But just whatever comes to you right away, just write it down. And this would be an opportunity, by the way, for you to practice also using your intuition, paying attention to your intuition as well. So that is all I have for today. Love you all. Thank you for continuing to watch the videos. It's a pleasure to serve you in this way. And I will see you on the next video. All right. Bye, everyone.